New at 5, a state Senate bill that would create a pilot program for a small number of courtrooms to record, even broadcast their court proceedings, passed out of committee this week. Now lawmakers will decide if it becomes law.
The bill has sparked some debate on privacy and transparency inside the Oklahoma justice system. Fox 23's Devin Lyon talked to the Broken Arrow state lawmaker behind the bill and a legal expert about this. He joins us live in studio with both sides of this debate.
Yeah, and while there's a bit of a road ahead for this piece of legislation, it's one step closer to becoming law. Efforts for this change have been made in the past, but now state lawmakers are trying to start small and find out how this change could work inside the Oklahoma court system.
I just thought, you know what, this is kind of the natural process for transparency throughout our judicial process, is for there to be video recording in the courtrooms.
State Senator Christy Gillespie is the author behind the Courtroom Transparency Act, which would allow cameras in courtrooms. The bill here reads, the Supreme Court shall establish a pilot project for the use of audio and video recording equipment capable of broadcasting and live streaming in courtrooms. It passed out of the Senate's Judiciary Committee on Tuesday.
So what we started with was a minimum of 12 courtrooms, with a preference for courtrooms that do not have a court reporter.
But not just for transparency. Gillespie says it could alleviate the burden of the court reporter shortage.
I do not want to replace court reporters. That is not the aim, the goal of this bill. But the reality of our world today is that we do have a court reporter shortage, and it is slowing down our judicial process.
Of Oklahoma's 197 court reporter positions, more than 70 are vacant, leaving some courtrooms without a record.
There's been a huge problem with the shortage of court reporters in Oklahoma, so much so that it's prevented hearings from happening various times because they couldn't find a court reporter to be present.
Attorney James Worth says this could solve multiple issues in Oklahoma's judicial system. Others have urged caution, citing concerns about victim and witness privacy and who can request access to the recordings. Is there any concerns when it comes to privacy in the court?
No. I mean, the concern would be a lack of privacy in the court. At least from my point of view, there's been plenty of proceedings in court where I've been in there that I'd love to have a record of those things. And those don't exist. And right now, there's no uniformity under the law as far as when courts are present or when cameras are present or when they're not.
We are still protecting victims. We're protecting witnesses. And that is very important to me.
But supporters say it's protecting the rights of those in court, not hurting them.
Quite frankly, Oklahoma needs to come into the 21st century so we can see what is going on in our courtrooms, for us to keep an eye on what's going on with our elected officials like judges and district attorneys.
This is video from a rally last year in Tulsa calling for courtroom accountability, specifically for cameras in courtrooms.
But really, this was just about ensuring that we can continue our judicial process, that we can keep moving forward when there's not a court reporter for the courtroom.
Now, Oklahoma is one of 5 states that don't already have laws like this one in place. It's next headed to the Senate Appropriations Committee, where they will try to fit it into an already razor-thin state budget. If it eventually does become law, it will cost a max of about $4 million to the state. Live in studio covering news that matters, Devin Lyon, Fox 23 News.
Most courtrooms have cameras already, but those are only for security. A judge can also allow public cameras into a courtroom like a news camera already in Oklahoma, but it is not common for them to do so. You can find the full legislation and our interview with Senator Gillespie in this story on fox23.com.